You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K24. It's myself, Momunzi, alongside me. As always, he's back. The one and only Mr. BJ Armstrong. BJ, how you doing, brother?
Man, it's good to be back, Mo. It's good to be back, back in the building with my guys, with my people, with the listeners. I was going away a little bit, Mo. I was going
How
away
was
a
your
little
trip?
bit.
Tell the people about your trip.
Well, it was good. I was over in at the Final Four over in Berlin.
The
So
EuroLeague.
it was the Euro League. So it was good. Got a chance to see uh Panathinaikos, I think they won.
Panathinaikos.
Is how you pronounce it. So they won, and Real Madrid, and saw all the teams over there, and saw all the people and the players, and so it was fun. I had a good time. It's a great city, Berlin. Had a good time, some good food, and I felt like Mo. When I paid, and no one took my credit card away like they do in
It
America.
doesn't make sense being in America. Trust me.
I know every time that happened, I thought of you.
Every
And,
time
and
I every time we get dinner in America and they take my card, I have to fight my inner reflex to go chase after them. It's crazy. Just bring the machine here. I'll tap my card.
yeah, but it was good though. I had a great time.
Did you manage to catch any NBA while you were there?
Yeah, I did. I did. And you know what? Mo, I'm telling you this. You already know it. I have so much respect that you stay up and then you tape afterwards. Well, I had to tap out. I just couldn't do it. I tapped out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I literally tapped out. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't tape at 5 in the morning like Mo does every single night. I don't know how this guy does it. I told him that. I was like, Mo, I just can't do it. I couldn't do it.
It's not easy. And I have to be honest, it's taking its toll on me. I turned 30 this year, BJ. I don't know how much longer I can continue. It used to be easy when I was like 21, stay awake all night. Now you can see from my face, it's taking its toll. So I
Yeah,
need
you got to go to bed.
you guys listening to support the show so that maybe one day I can get to greener pastures and live like a normal human for the first time in my life, because
Yeah, please do. I couldn't do it. I had to tap out. So
that would be nice. But it's good to have you back. You stopped off in London for a little bit, didn't come see me. Kind of upset
yeah,
about
I
that.
stopped. Well, I stopped out at the airport. That's all I did. I stopped out at the airport, and it was crazy. On my getting there, I called you, and then returning, I called you. That's it's total chaos in that airport.
Busiest
It's
airport in
total.
the world, Heathrow Airport.
Oh well, you know what? It is. I'm telling you. And to navigate that airport, you better know what you're
No,
doing.
you got to take the private jet next time. You got to take the private jet. Come on, BJ. Stop playing around, bro. Stop playing around.
The private, huh? Okay,
Yeah,
all
the
right. I hear
PJ. BJ
you.
on the PJ.
Okay.
But in quite saddening news, the NBA community lost a true
Yes,
legend today, Mr. Bill Walton.
you're right.
A legend on the court, off the court, an all-round great human to everyone who ever encountered him. BJ, talk to us about Bill Walton.
Yeah, the one thing, about Bill was he always had something positive to say, and you were going to get a smile. And because he would say, you never knew what he was going to say. You're here to talk basketball, and Bill starts talking about, he starts talking about, you know, Mars. He'll start talking
Aliens, yep.
about the aliens. He'll start talking about, you know,
Anything.
the chemical makeup he would talk about anything, and but you always were guaranteed to get a smile, something positive. I loved, some of the things he would say on his broadcasting would be so outrageous. However, it was guaranteed to at least make you laugh.
And he was being himself.
Yes, very authentic. And so, my condolences to his family. We represent, we work with Luke Walton here at our company here at Wasserman. And so condolences to his family, a true legend. And he's one of the greatest centers of all time.
Yep.
And
He had
we
an
talk
injury
about,
played career, but when he was playing, he
yeah,
was
but
unbelievable.
when
But
we talk
go
about
ahead.
Jokic, I just say this, we talk about Jokic and his passing, Bill Walton, was prior to Jokic. And Bill Walton in his era was without question, one of the greatest passing centers of all time. And perhaps you can argue maybe the greatest passing center of his era, of his generation. So phenomenal, phenomenal player, phenomenal person, champion on every level. And for all accounts, everyone that I've known that played with him, they said he was just an incredible teammate. And certainly I've had a couple experiences. Actually, one was to London, and he kept us entertained the entire time. Like, what did Bill say today? So, like I said, he was just a good guy and I enjoyed him, and I'm gonna miss him. And like I said, to the best of his family and what he meant to this game and his contributions to not only what he did on the court, but off the court as well. He was a true ambassador and of the game of basketball.
I completely agree. One of the coolest things that I wanted to share about Bill Walton was when he signed with the Clippers, San Diego, now the LA Clippers. He refused to sign his contract unless the team got him 8 tickets to all 7 stops, or 7 tickets to all 8 stops. So 56 tickets to see Bruce Springsteen on tour in concert. Do you know how good you have to be at basketball? Can you imagine if Luka Doncic says he's not signing his next contract unless he gets 8 tickets to every stop on Jay-Z's tour? The owners would be like, what are you doing? But
I know, that's pretty funny, actually.
It's pretty cool. Bill Walton, MVP, finals MVP, 2-time champion. He won a championship with the Boston Celtics, who tonight advanced to the NBA finals once again with a 105-102 win to sweep the Indiana Pacers. And Jaylen Brown was named the Eastern Conference MVP for the playoffs so far. And
Awesome.
they move on. And I just got to say credit to the Indiana Pacers for a tough series. 3 of the games were very, very close, and they could have won them.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking this is one of the most highly contested sweeps I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen a sweep this close. I mean, it seemed like every game.
Let me ask you this, BJ. Would you rather, in the conference finals, go into an NBA finals, blow out a team by 10 plus points in all 4 games? Or would you rather be a little bit more battle tested and have close encounters like the Celtics did against Indiana?
Mo, I wish I had a different feeling. Winning is just winning. And I don't care how you win it. And you've heard me say this, Mo. When you prepare to play in the playoffs in the series, you have to prepare to play 7 games. I don't care if I win by a half point. I just have to prepare for whatever it's going to take to advance. And I'm just not into like scores. Well, I won by 10, so this means what? Well, I won by 1, so that means what?
Well, I think the encouraging thing for the Celtics is all season long, their fourth quarter execution has been horrible. It's been slowed down. It's been isolation, my turn, your turn. And down the stretch in these close games, we actually saw them moving the basketball, making the hustle plays, playing great defense, which I think is definitely a step in the right direction. And had they blown out the Pacers in all these games, maybe they wouldn't have got those reps in those late game situations.
It could be, but every series is a new series. It's a new team. It's a new matchup. And I wish this was some type of video game where you can just transfer from one series to another.
NBA 2K24.
Whoever, yes. However, here, it appears to be the Dallas Mavericks. It's going to present its own challenges.
Yeah.
And, but whoever it is, it's going to present a challenge in which they're going to have to figure out. You're going to have to figure out how you're going to defend, who you're going to contest, who you're going to contain, what you're going to live with. So we'll see. Right now, they advanced. I thought the games, in particular, when Halliburton were missing, were way too close for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not encouraged by that, because when you lose an all-star and the other team is still competitive, I get concerned, because what that's telling me is that, you know what? The other team can still score. You don't just lose an all-star and the other team still keep, gives, is it CJ McCollum? No, TJ McCollum, right? Is that his name?
TJ McCollum.
McCollum, yeah. TJ McCollum. And these guys.
McConnell,
yeah. these guys were scoring way too many points.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nemhard had an amazing series. We can talk about the
that's what I'm
Pacers.
saying. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just a little bit too. So Halliburton scored 20, TJ McConnell scored 20, Nemhard scored 20. I mean, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, and you're doing this versus Drew Holiday and Derek White. You're not just, you know what I mean? Like that's just a little bit too much for me. Like your backup comes in and scores like 20. He has like Nemhard, like he's got to be now the best non-starting. Well, I
Well,
guess he's a
he started
starter.
126 of his 156 career games. He
Yeah,
started
I
two
mean,
guard, but
yeah,
I know what
but
you mean. Best
yeah,
kind of
that's
non-all-star second
yeah. I
guard.
mean, like, and then McConnell was like he was like changing the pace of the game when he came in.
He's
Like,
always
and
been one of the best backup
so
big guards in the
I'm
league.
a little concerned that if those guys do this, so what is Kyrie going to do if they play the Dallas Mavericks? Do you know what I mean? So I'm just a little concerned, but they advanced. They did what they had to do. Now it's time to go back to the drawing board and figure out what you got to do to advance in the next round. But, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, in the series. But by all accounts, it appears to be that the Dallas Mavericks will be advancing.
Well, a flaw of this Celtics team is they kind of play down to the level of the competition.
Okay,
Rather
that's
than
fair.
just steamrolling and crushing. So only time is going to tell. Jason Tatum received a lot of criticism on his run through the playoffs so far, but players in NBA history to lead their team in points, rebounds, and assists while reaching the NBA Finals. There's 5 names on that list. Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Tim Duncan, Jason Kidd, and now Jason Tatum. He averaged 30, 10, and 6 for this series. His shooting percentage from 3 has been a
Can
little
I
bit
get
shaky.
criticized for averaging 30, 10, and 6 assists?
Yeah, they find a way. ESPN will find a way, BJ. ESPN will find a way. Yeah, so it's interesting. His 3-point shot hasn't really been falling. We're gonna have to see if it comes back for the NBA Finals. But like stylistically, schematically, whichever team they face in the finals is going to be completely different. But I want to talk about the Pacers, because what a season for them. In-season
Yes.
tournament finalists, conference finalists, and I don't think anyone really expected that at the start of the year. I know people laugh at the
Right.
in-season tournament thing, but it is what it is. Even without Tyrese Halliburton today, they got 24 points and 10 assists from Andrew Nemhard. They got 19 from Siakam, 14 from Neesmith, and some great defense all playoffs long from Neesmith guarding the opposing team's best player. 15 off the bench from Connell, 12 off the bench from Obi Toppin. Like, they're a young team. They're set up nicely for the future. Do you think that this run for the Indiana Pacers was like the Hawks run in when they made it to the conference finals, or do you think that this is now moving forwards a serious contender in the East?
Well, I don't want to take away anything from what this team achieved, and I'm not about that. You win the games that you're supposed to win, and in this case, you win the series you're supposed to win. It wasn't their fault that Damian Lillard and Giannis were injured in round one, and it certainly wasn't their fault that the Knicks players they barely could put out 5 guys
Yeah.
for a game. Okay, everyone was hurt for that, so that's not their fault. So give them credit on what they achieved. However, is it possible they still could have won? Yes, this is a good team, and I agree. However, I don't think that they were significantly better than the Milwaukee Bucks if everyone was healthy, and I don't think they were better than the Knicks. And I can certainly argue that they weren't better than the Knicks if everyone was healthy this year. But
Yeah.
give them credit and let the history be written that they advanced to the conference finals this year. But I can tell you this, it's going to be much more difficult than what it was. And they're going to have to improve their team. Clearly, you can see that this is a team, they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of individual talent. But clearly, they're going to have to shore up some things with their team if they're going to continue to compete at this level. Cleveland is still going to be there. The Orlando Magic, they are a team that's coming on the come. And then, you know what? The Knicks are here. And then, of course, we always know that the Miami Heat, they just find a way.
No,
And,
let's stop that. Let's stop that.
yeah, I'm not stopping it. I'm not
stopping
stopping that. I'm not
that.
stopping that. They Pat Riley and these guys, they're going to figure it out. They always
No,
do.
because
So
we can't on one hand say that all these teams were better than the Pacers if they were fully
I didn't say
healthy.
they're
And
better.
then
I didn't say they're better. I'm just
you
saying you
said the
can't
Knicks were
stand
better
better.
than the Pacers if they were fully healthy. The Bucks would have been
If
better than the
I
Pacers if Dame and Giannis played. But yet the Heat get credit for going to the finals when they faced injured opponents the whole way.
again, I'll say it again. Maybe you missed this part. I'm not taking away anything. It's not their fault that those teams weren't healthy.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
However,
being a contender in the conference finals next year.
if they're going to get back to the conference finals, they're going to have to improve their team because those other teams are going to improve.
So what would you like to see them add?
Well, I want to see them add some bigs. I want to see. I want to
Like
see
starting
them.
caliber bigs, or because you've just traded for Siakam and Miles Turner is the 3-point shooting shot
Siakam
blocker.
is your power forward. Siakam is going to have problems playing against Giannis in a series. Siakam, I think, would have problems playing against Julius Randle in a series. Siakam, I think, will have problems playing against a Bam Adebayo. Not problems, but I don't see an advantage. Okay. Now, thank goodness for, in this Boston series, they didn't have Porzingis. I just think he is more suited, in my opinion, as a small forward. I don't think he has a power forward body. Is he tall enough? Yeah, you hear me say this all the time. There are tall guys and then there are big guys.
Yeah,
I want to see them.
He just doesn't have that 3-point shot that most teams want in their starting small forward these days.
Well, that's okay, but I don't think he has the body type to be a power forward. You know what I mean? I just think Aaron Gordon and those guys, they bring a different level of physicality to the game that he can't bring. He certainly brings length, he brings speed, he brings quickness. He's a really, really, really good player. However, when they take out Miles Turner, they have no physicality to the game. So I would like to see them bring Obi Toppin is another slender player. I would like to see them bring some level of physicality to the game. That's going to be necessary because some of the best players now are big guys. Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Luka Doncic is a very physical player, even though he's a guard. So I just think it's important to have that level if they're going to continue to compete at this level. And now that they've been to the conference finals, you got to figure out a way to do it.
Well, talking about great bigs, but the other series currently going on in the Western Conference, the bigs haven't really been showing up for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But the bigs for Dallas have been fantastic, Gafford and Lively. However, Lively will be missing tonight's game with a neck sprain. Do you think this is Minnesota's chance to avoid being swept by the Dallas Mavericks? Because we're talking about the bigs, but the Mavericks guards, that's the story of the conference finals, Kyrie and Luka Doncic.
Well, I'm not going to focus in on, suddenly Lively's absence. Will they miss his athleticism? Absolutely. You need every advantage.
That is passing.
Yes. However, I think you said it. The story of this series is the phenomenal guard play, in particular, Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving, this is the second series now where I can definitively say he's been the best player in the series. All right, he did it in round one versus the LA Clippers, and then now he's doing it again. Okay, he's leading this team in a way that I finally answered the question that I've been asking for the last, I don't know how many years. What is Luka Doncic? Well, I can tell you what he is. He's settled in now. He is a scoring two guard because Kyrie Irving is the lead guard. He's the leader of the team. And now Luka Doncic fills in. And because of the other two guys in particular, the guys that they have on their team now, who am I talking about? PJ Washington and what
Derek
is
Jones.
it? Derek Jones.
Yep.
And those guys, they allow Luka to float. Okay. And they have a defensive scheme, which they call boxes and elbows. And every time a player puts them in isolation, puts Luka in isolation, everyone gets to the elbows and they play literally a zone defense. Okay. So now we have figured out what Luka is. Kyrie pushes the pace. Kyrie forces the tempo. And then in all half court sets, Luka initiates and distributes. And then they play fast. So it's like Luka has his own pace, and then the other four guys play at a different pace. And it kind of throws you off. So Luka does Luka, but Kyrie stirs the drink. And it's a fascinating. So now it makes sense to me why Jalen Brunson was so effective, because when you think about it, that's what Jalen Brunson did in that run that they had. And now I finally figured out and answered the question, how do you utilize this talent called Luka Doncic? Okay, so Kyrie Irving now has shown me that he pushes the pace and plays the pace, and play downhill. Okay, Mo, that's a check. That's a box. Every team has to have that. That's what Kyrie does. But Luka plays in the middle of the court. He never plays. If you watch them, what's fascinating about watching them is every offensive set for Luka Doncic is always in the middle of the court so that he can just pick whatever side he wants to go to. They never put him on the side so that you can push him baseline or double team him. He's always looking for a switch. It's a fascinating, because they have two teams in one with Luka. There's Luka, and then there's the other four guys who are all incredible athletes. The other four guys are athletes. PJ Washington, Gafford, Lively, Kyrie, Derrick Jones, and all of those guys. And then there's Luka. So it's a fascinating mix. They have a system of play now. They have really figured out defensively how they're going to play, which is unbelievable. Luka made a play last night that I had to get up and applaud. He gets on the floor, dives, and he's making defensive plays. So he's bought in now. And I want to say this because there was some chatter. Jason Kidd has been exceptional.
He has.
In the playoffs. He's not been good. Jason Kidd has been exceptional in these playoffs, and they have found the mix. Kyrie Irving is he's the one that kind of figured it out. I don't know if they saw something. Well, they must have saw something. They traded for him. And this guy, PJ Washington and Lively and Gafford, incredible pickups by them. I mean, it's just really, it all worked for him, right?
Yeah.
And so I
to
got give
I
him
was
credit.
thinking about this, BJ. When was the last time you saw a team make an in-season trade for two new starters and go to the finals?
That's what I'm saying. It's got to give him credit. I'm gonna tell you, I have been so impressed with Kyrie Irving. I mean, it's been unbelievable to watch. And I love to watch players grow, and I love to watch people grow. And you know what? I just want to say this to Kyrie Irving. Congratulations, my man. This has been incredible. You went through the fire to get to this, and this is what it's all about. It's all about growth. And this young man has certainly had his share of criticism, but to see him come out on this side and the leadership that he's displaying, it's been unbelievable. I mean, he's leading Luka, and Luka's following. And Luka now is doing things that I mean, he's playing defense. He's talking defense.
The listeners will be happy to know the BJ's eternal question of Luka's defense has finally been answered. Now we just need to make every game of the 82 worth a conference finals.
Yeah, and listen, we've all known this guy is incredible, right? I mean, he's an incredible talent. But for him to be doing this in the framework of the team and playing at this level and meshing his talent with the other guys, and they have tremendous chemistry with them. So, I mean, it's been amazing to watch. But I just want to say, Jason Kidd, wow, you and your staff has been unbelievable. Clearly, the work isn't done, but it's really been great to watch coaches ascend to another level, because he's coaching at a championship caliber level right now.
Let me ask you this. A few weeks ago, you on the show, you said Anthony Edwards is the best player in the world.
Yes.
Where do you stand with that right now?
He's without question the best talent. I mean, no question.
But who's the best player in the world right now?
Well, when you start saying player, we're talking about numbers and things like that. Now, here's the thing. What I say, the player, Anthony Edwards right now has to be defended by five guys. Now, I want to give the Dallas Mavericks credit because I have a rule when I play against a great player. You can't allow a great player to be great. See, to me, the difference in this series is the following. The Minnesota Timberwolves are allowing Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving to be great. They're not doubling them. You cannot, Mo, great players are so good, they're going to figure things out.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is when you look at how the Wolves defend, let's say Kyrie's got the ball on the wing or Luka's got the ball on the wing, the stance of the defender is forcing them towards the baseline. Whereas when the Mavericks are on defense, they're forcing Anthony Edwards and their guys to drive middle because that's where they know the help defense is at.
But again, they're not even allowing Anthony Edwards has gone from being a two guard to being a point guard in this series. That's how much respect the Dallas Mavericks are giving him. So now we're just focusing on his stats to try to realize what's going on here. But when you realize that all five guys, they're focused on Anthony Edwards, and he's still getting 20 points a game. Okay? This is elite level stuff that you're seeing. So when you have a team where you say, I don't care about the first defender, the second defender, I need five guys. That's called like Jordan. That's the Jordan rules. That's how well respected he is. Okay? When you got to commit a team to play against one player. You understand the difference. So when I see that level of respect, this isn't like you're playing against a first team all NBA player, Luka. Kyrie Irving is an elite player. These are terrific defensive players in what they're doing. And they still need five guys to confront Anthony Edwards. And we know this. Okay, so I know what he is. Now, has Anthony Edwards seen this level of, has he seen this level of commitment to him in a 7-game series? No. He's only 22 years of age. This is the way he's reacting to this. He's never seen a defense like this. Just like when Jokic and these guys lost when they were 22 years of age. You know, it takes time to figure this out. Now, do I think he will figure it out? Absolutely. No one works through this and sees this. When you see a team make a commitment to you, you know, it's kind of like, you know, playing your first time you get double teamed. Well, no one, you know, solves it in the first time. It's going to take him some time to get it. Now, if he's still doing the same mistakes that he's doing right now at 28, then that's a fair question. Okay. But at 22 in the conference finals, to see this level of defense being ushered at him in a way.
Yeah, I've been saying this is a learning experience for him.
It's a learning experience. Yeah. So
who have you got in game 4?
I think Dallas is poised to win this. I think Dallas is poised to do it. And the reason I think they're poised is because now they know that the other team is waiting. Okay. They know their team is waiting. And so now I think, unlike the other rounds, you want to be as healthy as possible. And I think if they can get this thing done, not that it matters, I think psychologically it matters, because Porzingis at some point, I'm assuming, is probably going to be available.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm assuming. But you want to say, oh, y'all did this? Oh, we did this too. Now let's go. So I think it's important psychologically for them, because the Boston Celtics played this game with a sense of urgency to win it and get it over with. And I think, in particular, maybe the other guys don't know this, but I can assure you Kyrie Irving knows it, and I can assure you Jason Kidd knows it.
Kyrie Irving undefeated in elimination games, and Luka Doncic knows it from his time over in Europe. He's
Yeah,
a big
so
game player.
so I can assure you that they are coming out with that energy. I can assure you that Minnesota is going to be a tough out. Okay. They have these games have been fairly close.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think it's going to be a battle of wills. And I just know that the Dallas Mavericks would love to finish this out and move on and get ready and get their mindset for the for the NBA finals. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to be tough. So they got to make sure that they're present, they're focused, but more importantly, that they have a chance to win that game.
Yep, the Boston Celtics right now are getting ready for the NBA Finals. BJ, I wish me and you were getting ready for the NBA Finals, but
Yes, 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 I
if
do.
anyone listening wants to send us there, we will provide great coverage. We are available for business. So you just holler at us. But that's another episode. It's good to have you back, BJ. We missed you here on the
Oh, it's
show.
good to
We
be
had we
back.
had
Well, I miss
CT
you.
jump in, and
Now
it's always
you,
love when CT comes on the show as well. We've got to get
yes,
him back on and get the
yes.
whole crew together. Got to get Scott back as well. But it's good to have you back, BJ. It's good to have you back.
All right, go. Who we say? Should we say Mavericks or go Wolves? Well, one thing is for certain, Mo.
I want 7 games. I want the Wolves to win 3 straight and
Uh,
get the Mavericks tired.
of course you do, but we know you have a hidden agenda.
Of course, that's not
But
hidden. It's a
but
wide
here,
open agenda. Everyone knows it.
so here's one thing that's for certain. After the after the 48 minutes tomorrow night, or later today for you, the Minnesota Timberwolves will be headed back to Minnesota. They'll
No.
be headed back in 48 minutes.
If they lose, they can start their holiday from there. They can go to
Okay.
Cancun.
They will be headed back to Minnesota to get their whatever, their bathing suits or whatever they need to go to Cancun or wherever they're going. But after the game, they will be headed back to Minnesota. Now, the question is, will they be headed back with a friend? Called the Dallas Mavericks.
I don't think they're friends, but I hear you.
Yeah, they're friends. Because you know what, Mo? You know what? You got to become friends with the enemy. You got to become friends with the enemy right now. Mo.
Do you know who I need to get back on the show? I need to get Grant Williams back on the show because he played for the Mavericks and he played for the Celtics. I need to know what he thinks about this.
Yeah, but these are two different teams. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something else about watching your Celtics. I think I said this to you earlier in the season. This guy, Drew Holiday,
He's been huge in these close games.
I told you this, and I'm gonna say it again. He's going to be the key to them winning a championship because defensively, Mo,
He
guy
just
makes
got
plays.
his 300K bonus for making the finals. Hopefully, he doesn't start relaxing now. But I think Drew Holiday and Derek White, all NBA defenders, but I think they're just too small for Luka Doncic. I think you got to guard Luka Doncic with tape. But this is a whole nother story we'll talk about on a finals preview.
I'm gonna say this. I'm not concerned about Luka because we know the rule for Luka. Luka has to be treated like the superstar he is. I can't allow Luka to be great because if he is allowed to be great, guess what he's going to do? He's going to be great. The one I'm concerned about is Kyrie Irving. Because you can't double team Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. You can only take away one of them. You see? So if you double Luka at the start of the play, then that means Kyrie Irving is playing one-on-one. No one can guard him one-on-one, Mo. This is what I'm saying. You got to take away something. All right, I'm going to take away Luka. But so if you double, that's two defenders on Luka, and then you double.
You gotta save this for the finals preview episode, BJ. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I'm not getting ahead. I'm just saying we cannot. You can't take away everything. That's the thing that's been most disappointing about the Minnesota Timberwolves thus far, in my opinion, is that okay, you can't switch on Luka and you can't switch on Kyrie. You got to do something. You got to take away one or the other. I don't care which one you do, but I can't switch Rudy Gobert on Luka Doncic. I can't switch it. You got to double it. You follow what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's going to stop Luka. Luka is a great player. He's going to figure it out. But you can't switch on him because it's impossible to play him when you switch.
Barbecue chicken.
He's a great player. Like, and if you watch the Dallas Mavericks, they're running their entire offense in the middle of the floor so that you can't double. Because what's the rule for every NBA team? You can't double an NBA player in the middle of the floor. So if you watch him tomorrow, Mo, watch this. It's fascinating to watch these coaches, how good they really are. Like Jason Kidd is coaching and he's such an elite level right now that he's starting every offensive set in the middle of the floor. And he brings 3 players to the screen: Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and Conley. And then once everyone gets it, everyone's spread, and then they play. Because you can't double at the top. Because if you double at the top, that center slips, or he rolls and they replace, and then they're lobbing and doing things to the basket. Mo, it's you because you can't double. You can't do it. These guys are too good. They have 2 3-point shooters in the corner, so you can't leave those guys. We know that's the second highest shot in basketball after the layup, according to the analytics now. Those guys are shooting at an enormous clip from the corner. And then Gafford and these guys, how many dunks do they? How many dunks do they get?
The playoffs in alley-oops by an insane amount.
That's what I'm saying. Like Mo, it's fascinating to watch what they're doing. And Kyrie is playing. Anytime you turn it over, whatever, Kyrie is pushing the pace. So it's like it's really. I'm going to be fascinated to see what they're going to take away. Your Celtics, because I don't know if Minnesota fully can make any adjustments now. You know what I mean? Like clearly they haven't made any adjustments in 3 games. So, why do I think they're going to do it in game 4? But they've been playing close anyway. Regardless, they've still been close in these games. So they're certainly capable.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be very difficult, as most of us think right this time.
Well, we're going to find out tonight. And as always, we'll be back tomorrow morning with another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Spotify,
get some sleep,
Apple,
Mo. Get some sleep.
You get podcasts from.
Get some sleep.
I'm not going to edit the podcast. I deserve a lot of things in life, BJ, and I don't get any of them. So here we are. Anyway, I do deserve to see the Celtics win 4 more games, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll have to wait and find out. But until next time, you guys know what it is. Get buckets.